Hello, everyone, and welcome to Denise's first ever Wednesday webinar. For those of you who haven't met me, I'm Denise Gagne. This is my 42nd year of teaching, although my teaching really is guest teaching these days, which makes it super fun. I've been hearing so many questions about what schools and classrooms and music teaching is going to look like next year. And in this webinar, I'm hoping that we can give you answers, some ideas. We'll answer questions at the end. So as you're chatting, you can post questions. Some people sent us questions in advance, and I'll answer as many of these questions as I can as we go along through the when we get to the question and answer of the webinar. If we run out of time, and we don't want the Q&A to go longer than a half hour, if we run out of time, I'm going to do written responses to these questions and post them in the same place. The webinars are going to be on musicplayonline.com, and there's going to be a new little section on the left menu in kind of near where the online learning modules are. So if you're ready, I would like you to have with you a couple of instruments, preferably a pair of sticks. If you don't have sticks, your chopsticks will do. A pair of wooden spoons will be fine too. But I want you to participate and join in as much as possible. Hopefully this is much more hands-on than it is theory and learning. So enjoy the presentation. Hi, I'm Denise, and welcome to the very first Wednesday webinar that I'm doing. Today is activities for elementary music classes in the fall. There have been a number of webinars that deal with the theory and the rules. I'm hoping this one is going to be very hands-on to help you visualize what your classroom might look like in fall. I'm taking a saying from Artie. This is from Artie's Affirmations, and it's available as a print poster. It's not hard, it's just new. Everybody say that. It's not hard, it's just new. We have learned more in the past 3 months than we ever thought we would about Screencastify and Zoom and everything else. And we've done it. We've gotten through it. So you can get through the fall in the same way. So I went to the CDC website, and I did take their recommendations for schools. So stay home if sick or exposed. Teach and reinforce hand washing with soap and water for at least 20 seconds. So of course, we're going to do that with the song. Wash, wash, wash your hands, wash them nice and clean. Soap and water kills the germs, so be a wash machine with me. Wash, wash, wash your hands, wash them nice and clean. Soap and water kills the germs, so be a wash machine. And if you do that 2 times, it equals 20 seconds, and that is as much time as what the CDC recommends that you do with the kids. So cover coughs and sneezes with a tissue. So I'm going to take you to a song that's at musicplayonline.com, and I'll be flipping back and forth in this presentation. So this is the germ song from kindergarten. If I go to kindergarten, I've got a notation and a lyrics video, and I'm never going to do notation except for myself with kindergartens. I'm always going to do the lyrics video. This button makes it full screen, and as soon as you've caught the tune, sing along with me. Germs, I'm gonna get those germs. Germs, I'm gonna get those germs. Germs, I'm gonna get those germs, 'cause I'm gonna wash my hands. Germs, I'm gonna get those germs. Germs, I'm gonna get those germs. Germs, I'm gonna get those germs, 'cause I won't share my drinks. And I'm gonna wash my hands. Germs, I'm gonna get those germs. Germs, I'm gonna get those germs. Germs, I'm gonna get those germs, 'cause when I cough, I cover my mouth. And I won't share my drinks. And I'm gonna wash my hands. So a cute little piece. You could even do one of those group videos of your kids singing it. So another thing that the CDC recommends is to teach and reinforce the use of face coverings, especially where distancing is difficult. So to the tune of Hot Cross Buns, ready, go, wear a mask, wear a mask. When it's hard to stay apart, please wear a mask. Your turn. Wear a mask, wear a mask. When it's hard to stay apart, please wear a mask. The CDC recommends providing supplies of soap, sanitizer, disinfectant wipes, and masks, but that will be up to your admin, not to you. It's going to tell you to clean and disinfect surfaces, and they're going to have to give you some time to do it. But the teachers I've talked to that are teaching now say they actually have a bit of extra time because they're not running as many ensembles. So that's something to look forward to. Limit the use of shared articles. You will need to create instrument kits that stay with the child. You can't have kids sharing instruments, especially if you're jumping from one class to the next. And we won't be able to use those difficult to clean items that are so much fun, like our beat buddies or our parachutes or our stretchy bands. And it suggests keeping each child's belongings separate. So if you have handouts to give kids, I would suggest you do your copying the day before, and then either after school or early in the morning, you give those handouts to kids so there's no real up-close contact between you and them. Obviously, you bring your own water bottles and you space your seating or desks 6 feet apart. Another suggestion is virtual events in place of field trips. So I contacted the Musical Instrument Museum in Arizona, and they said they're actually creating virtual field trips to that institution. So look them up, and I'm sure that many of the symphonies are going to do the same. To keep groupings as static as possible, this is what I think is going to impact the most. There's going to be some places, I think, in the middle of hotspots where there's going to be virtual classes. And in schools where they're in an area with not so much problem, they are going to have small classes. In Alberta, they're talking about a maximum gathering of about 15. And what they're thinking might happen is that a class be divided into 2 cohorts. Cohort meets Tuesday, Thursday, one cohort meets Monday, Wednesday, and the other days the teachers provide virtual learning. There's lots of options that are being talked about. This is an actual photo from Felicity Bryson, who teaches at an international school in Belgium, and she's back for the first week this year.
Hello fellow music teachers, I'm Felicity Bryson and I'm currently teaching at the International School of Luxembourg, where I teach music to K2 students, so that's the 5 and 6 year olds, and grade 4, grade 5. I direct the 2 lower school bands and co-direct the grade 3, 4 and 5 choir. We came back to school on Monday. The upper school had already started 2 weeks ago. The school has split all the families into 2 cohorts, so essentially every class is only half full. They're in 1 week, and then the second cohort comes in the following week. So they're switching between virtual learning and real-time in the class learning, and school are calling that connected virtual learning. It was a really good start to the lower school. Everybody's in a very bright spirit. They're happy to find their friends. They're happy to be back despite the changed circumstances. But I'm finding that the children are adapting extremely quickly. They are walking around the corridors wearing their masks. They come into class wearing them. And then provided they are 2 meters from each other or 2 meters from the teachers, they can bring their masks down. So they just have them around their neck, ready to put up. If they want to keep them on, of course, we allow them to do so if they feel more comfortable. So the grade 1s to grade 5s, they are coming to the music classroom for their lessons. If I just switch out the way, you can see there is 2 meters between all of my workstations. So I've set up a plastic bucket, a music stand and a chair. Very easy for them to be washed down, and every student has been provided with a set of cheap drumsticks that will be theirs until the summer holidays, which for us is the end of June. So we're able to sing, we're able to play recorders, we're able to do anything where we have enough time to sanitize between classes. Our schedules have been reduced, so instead of having 40-minute classes, we have 30-minute classes, allowing us the time to wash down the instruments, which is great. K2 is a little different. So preschool to K2, their music classes are now in the classroom, in their homeroom. I was really hesitant to do that. I love to have my room. I like my resources. I like my piano. Everything is good to go. But in fact, it's working just fine because I have an electric piano down there, which is on wheels. It's a lovely one. I can wheel it into the different classrooms as I go. I make sure I have my computer set up with what I need, can attach it to the whiteboard when I get in there. And every child has a plastic bag with their own instruments in. So you've probably seen, or you will see later, everybody has a pair of claves, they have a shaker, they have a scarf, and they have a triangle or another type of metal instrument. And that's made life very simple because the kids are all in stations in the K2 classrooms. They've got what they call their houses. The same thing, everything 2 meters apart. But when I come in, the instruments are already given out because they're already on their desks. So in fact, the 40 minutes reduced to 30 minutes actually doesn't make a difference at all. We're using a lot of activities with scarves so they can still move around, but within their space, and making great use of Denise's wonderful online activities and rhythms that they have used when they're at home. So we're making the connections, and along with lots of videos that I made as well. Denise, thank you very much at this point for everything that you've done. It's certainly allowing us to make that bridge between the kids that are at home and the kids that are at school, so that they can be doing similar things at home to school whilst keeping it more practical while we are here. I hope that's helped with our organisation. We are singing, as I say, we are playing recorders, keep the distance. We're not preparing concerts, so we're not asking them to sing loudly. It's singing in their space, being aware of everybody. But it's fantastic to be back. I wish you all the very best of luck as you prepare for your re-entry. If you need any more information, feel free to drop me an email, send me an email, fbryson@islux.lu. Bye.
But I think in North America, I think we're going to have the A and B class switch. Felicity says she has one class 1 week and the other half of the class the next week, and she's responsible for virtual learning in between. The other thing that I think we're going to see more of in North America is teaching off a cart. And this is a cart, actually it's Stacy's cart when she taught at St. Martin's School in Red Deer. And again, it's difficult. It's a change, but it's not impossible for us to do this and to teach on a cart. I hope Musicplay Online makes it easier for you. The big thing, I think, is that the research that's coming out on singing is that it is dangerous to sing. In Alberta, the guidelines came out, no more than 15 people in a room. They have to be 6 feet apart, and they want them facing away from each other. So instead of having the kids all watching you, they want the kids looking different ways, which isn't going to work well. So I'm suggesting that in many cases, try and flip your instruction so that the kids do their singing at home. At school, you read the lyrics, you read the rhythms, you hum the melodies, you teach the movements for the song, and you give the kids the links to the song so they sing at home. At musicplayonline.com, if you use the search tool, you can isolate pretty well any song on there. But again, we do so much more than sing in our music classes. We sing, but we play, we move, we listen, we read, write, and we create. In the national standards, we have creating, performing, responding, connecting. The performing is definitely going to take a different shape because you won't be able to perform in front of audiences next year. But there's been some amazing virtual performances posted on Facebook, and that, I think, is what we're all going to have to learn how to do, and you'll have to recruit some help if you're not a good video editor. So issues to do with playing instruments. Any instruments you use have to be disinfected. Bleach, excess water, it can hurt wood, so you have to be careful what you disinfect with. And you're going to need time between your classes because just wiping doesn't kill the germs. You have to leave it sit for a certain length of time, and you need to read the manufacturer's instructions to find out exactly how you're sitting. NAFME recommends isopropyl alcohol that's above 70%. And NAFME also recommends that kids hand wash before and after using instruments. So possible instruments you could use. I think recorders are going to be okay as long as they're individually owned and they're stored in student tubs or in backpacks. I also think boom whackers are likely going to be okay because those can be sanitized. And especially if you've got bazillion sets, you divide them up amongst your small classes and you keep those in the classroom beside the child that's going to use it so that it's not being shared. Then you don't have to disinfect. I think buckets are something, again, you saw them in Felicity's classroom. I think buckets are something, especially if the kids don't have to touch them. If they do have to touch them, set the bucket by the kid's desk and use it as an instrument kit. Drums should be okay in many cases. You can also find these little class sets of xylophones. They're not near as expensive as some of the more full-size ones. Bars, so they're really quite nice. So I've got a link in the PowerPoint to a website where you can find those. And I'm quite sure more music stores will be carrying those too. But I think one of our big tools that we're going to have to go into fall with is individual instrument kits. So you package sets of small percussion instruments and the kids will actually keep them in beside their desks so that that's that child's kit. You put their name on it with a big sticker and they're not allowed to share or mix them up. The easiest way, I think, to make the instrument kits is to inventory what rhythm instruments you have in your classroom and calculate how many kits you can make with what you have now. And then if you want to, you could change out the kits between classes every couple of months so that the kids do get a series of different instruments. So in a perfect world, this is what I'd like to have. I'd like to have a pair of rhythm sticks in that kit. I'd like to have a drum, a hand drum. This is a little mini hand drum. They're stupidly expensive actually, but doesn't have a bad sound. I'd like to have at least one egg shaker. There, I would like finger cymbals or triangles or tambourines. This is the deluxe version, and if you don't have enough inventory to put these together, the cost is going to be prohibitive, especially if you've got 500 kids. This could cost maybe $30 to put together. That's $1,500, and most schools aren't going to have that budget. So this is Plan B, a do-it-yourself kit. So dowels or chopsticks, my pool noodle scrapers, and egg shakers that I've made myself. And this could cost as little, I think, as little as 25 cents to put this together, which is a lot more doable when you have 500 children. This is Felicity Bryson's instrument kits. I thought she had a really good idea in that she added, so if we're going to do some movement with the kids, which I'm talking about in the webinar 2 weeks from today, you've got scarves. If you have enough in the school and you could add them, I would add some bean bags to it. Cups for cup games, and this doesn't have to cost anything. Every McDonald's I've ever been to in the whole world gives me cups for free. And then you could do cup games with your 4th, 5th, and 6th graders. That's a really good option. And a teacher on Facebook suggested asking parents to send some do-it-yourself instruments. Disadvantage of that, everybody's is going to be a little different. Advantage, you don't have to make them yourself. But this is something I do think we should be thinking about. I've given some links in the presentation to the ones that I would order if I need a lot. So I found these Royal Premium disposable bamboo chopsticks on Amazon. I haven't used them, but Steve in our Musicplay Teachers group on Facebook said he was very happy with his. And the cost, 8 cents a pair. These are the ones that I've used for years, and I think they're quite similar to the ones that Amazon's selling. They don't have a terrible sound. I can even play my buckets with them. And again, another teacher on Musicplay Teachers group suggested buying local from your Asian grocery store and support your local businesses that have been shut down for the last while. An option I like better than chopsticks is to buy dowels. They're often a little bit harder to find and they cost a little bit more, but they feel more like real rhythm sticks or real drumsticks. Do-it-yourself egg shakers. I found this package of 288 plastic eggs for $20.99. So that's going to work out a cent a piece. I fill them with popcorn. I always find that popcorn gives them kind of a nice sound and it feels nice. Rice is quieter, but I don't like rice as much. But I tape these closed first with clear tape, and then I put a piece of colored tape over top. I would suggest giving these to kids that aren't going to try and crack them open. Pre-K is really, really bad for trying their darndest to get these things apart. So use them maybe with grade 1, 2, and 3 where you can watch them a little better. And it's fun to add some different fillers to them. Popcorn, Lego has a cool sound, coins, rice, jelly beans, pebbles, whatever you can think of that'll make a cool sound. Pool noodle scrapers. I have a video in here, but I don't think you really need a video to show you how to make these. Basically, I just took an X-Acto knife and I cut down. I sliced it off the length that I wanted, and then I cut on the side. And they actually don't sound bad at all. I like them every bit as much as sandpaper blocks. They're super cheap, they're really light, and they last forever. The train is on the track. The train is on the track. It's going up to Edmonton, and then it's coming back. Okay, boys and girls, where would you like to go next? So you can have your kindergartens, your pre-Ks busy for a long time thinking of all the places that they know. So what do you do with these instrument kits once you have them? I'm going to give you some ideas here for your little people on up to 5th and 6th grade with the bucket drums and with rhythm play-alongs. So with pre-K, I often start with Let's Play Instruments. 2 places you can get this song. One is in the Rhythm Instrument Fun Book, and the other is if you're a subscriber, it's already part of musicplayonline.com. So I can go to pre-K, and I can go to Let's Play Instruments, and I'll play the little video, but I often do this without. Let's play instruments, let's play instruments, let's play instruments now. You try. Let's play instruments, let's play instruments, let's play instruments now. Most often I don't use the recording for that. I just get up and we say, let's play instruments, let's play instruments, let's play instruments now. And it's really good for the kids because it's in 7/4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And kids don't get a lot of experience in mixed meters like that in our Western culture. So that's why it's included in this pre-K program. You have a beautiful thing if you're going into their classes and they already have their instrument kits right beside them in their little tubs. You won't need to hand out instruments. Boys and girls, take out your instruments, and I'd like you to take out your rhythm sticks, please. And let's play instruments with the sticks. Let's play instruments. Let's play instruments. Let's play instruments now. I have another little chant that I really like a lot when kids have instruments in hands. They want to explore, but it makes a lot of noise. And if you are in the regular classroom, the noise will bleed between classrooms and you'll have the next classroom over complaining that you're making too much noise. So you want them under control as quickly as you can. So this is the little chant that I use when kids have instruments in hand. Play the instruments quickly, quickly, quickly. Play the instruments quickly, quickly. Stop. And I find someone who stopped and praised them. Play the instruments slowly, slowly, slowly. Play the instruments slowly, slowly. Stop. Play the instruments loudly, loudly, loudly. Play the instruments loudly, loudly. Stop. And literally every time that I have instruments out with my pre-Ks, my Ks, my 1s, my 2s, even my 3s, I will do that chant. I will do it different ways. Scrape the sticks quickly, quickly, quickly. Scrape the sticks quickly, quickly. Stop. Another way I could do it, pound the sticks quickly, quickly, quickly. Pound the sticks quickly, quickly, stop. Or with sticks you can drum the sticks quickly, just on the floor. Drum the sticks quickly, quickly, stop. So this is a very useful little chant. It really keeps the kids managed and the behaviors acceptable. So we made up a little song that goes with it. And in this one, I typically do use the recording. This is the play and stop song. And as soon as you've caught it, sing and play along. Play and stop. Play and stop. Let's play all through the day. Let's play and stop. Play and stop. Let's play all through the day. Let's play and stop. Play and stop. Play and stop. Let's play all through the day. Let's play and stop. Play and stop. Let's play all through the day. Let's play and stop. So that's very fun. Kids like it a lot, but I also want to get kids playing along with classical music. So we've included a little play along with a Brandenburg concerto. And in this one, we're going to experience microbeat and macrobeat. So they're learning subdivisions of the beat, even if they're only in pre-K or K. Video is going to go on and tell them a little bit about Bach, which is always interesting for pre-Ks to grasp. In kindergarten, we have a vivace that is really fun because it has loud and quiet. So when it's quiet, I want you to tap really small beats. And when it's loud, I want you to tap bigger beats. And we'll do this with the music. And if you go into the listening section of the website, there's lots of play-alongs. So the listening section is graded. Kit 1 is grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, grade 4, grade 5. And there's lots of extras in here as well for your music classes. But I wanted to do a play-along today with number 29. And here's the play-along. These are actually being updated right now. So this will be bigger the next time you use it. But we're going to play an A, B, and a C section. If you've got 3 different instruments, you could change instruments with each section. I will give this a try and see if I can change from my sticks to my shakers for the B, and then I'll play the scrapers on the C. So 3 different instruments. If you want more challenging play-alongs for your older kids, take a look at Kit 3, and I'm looking for the Musette because it has a play-along that uses 16th notes. Let's try drumming this. And again, I want it full screen. The B. Back to A. Oops, that's a B. So there's some for your younger students, some for your older students, and all easy to do. So throughout the kits, you just have to look for play-alongs, and there's lots of them. Now I'm going to go back to my handout. So we talked about the Voce by Handel, the listening kit play-alongs. We're going to talk a little bit about word rhythm compositions. And I do this often. I take ideas from a song and I create a rondo using part of the song as a theme, or all of the song as a theme if it's a short little song like Snail Snail, and then my compositions as B, C, and D sections. So the song Let's Make Some Christmas Cookies is in Musicplay Pre-K. Now in this one again, we probably don't want the kids to sing. So I might show them the kids' demo and invite them to make up movements along with it. This was a performance by grade 1 class, and they're very adorable. So we'll listen to a little bit of this, not all of it. This was their movements that they made up, not necessarily mine. Going to do the whole song here now. So that's the Christmas cookie song, and the part of the song that I'm going to use for this, I'll pull up the lesson so you can see it. I'm going to use this part. Delicious. Good. Have a Christmas cookie. I wish you would. And that's all that I'm going to use of the song. But it's a fun one for the kids. Now, here in the song are the holiday treat rhythms. So I can have healthy holiday treats, or I can have ones that are not so healthy. Now, in pre-COVID times, I would have made up a class set of those, laminated them, and then used them over and over and over again. But one of the things we can't do is share materials. So now you simply download it, you copy it, and you give it to your students. to keep. You're not going to be sharing materials. It's color. I wouldn't waste the ink on color printing for these unless you have big budget for color printing. So you give each child a set of word cards that they keep. And I would have little people cut them out themselves. Don't you go to all the work of cutting them out for 400 kids. Make the kids cut them out themselves. That's good fine motor for them, and it saves you lots and lots of time. So then what you would do is you would create patterns. So in this case, the pattern would be oranges, nuts, oranges, nuts, oranges, 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 nuts. Let's try playing all the oranges by clicking our sticks and the nuts by drumming. Oranges, nuts, oranges, nuts, oranges, 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 nuts. Oh, let's try a different way. Let's try it on the scrapers. Oranges, nuts, oranges, nuts, oranges, 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 nuts. If all your kids have kits, you can have some of your kids play the scrapers and some of your kids play the sticks or the shakers, whatever way you want to do. And then I would use delicious, good. Have a Christmas cookie, I wish you would. Oranges, nuts, oranges, nuts, oranges, 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 nuts. So a fun way to create a rondo. And just to show you that this is quite easy to do with kids. I've done word rhythm patterns from these little people that I'm not sure if Sophia or Isabella was 4 or 5. They're twins. They're identical. I can't tell them apart when I don't see their faces close up. So it's one of the two of them did the word rhythm, and they were only 4 or 5. I was going into their pre-K classes, and I wanted to make sure this was a doable activity by 4-year-olds, and it absolutely was. I've done similar activities with 5th grade, giving them rhythm cards. And throughout Musicplay online, you'll find any of the reading songs will have those rhythm cards available for you to use as masters and get your kids doing some simple compositions. So you flip the singing. I wasn't singing in that. We were listening, we were watching, we're making up movements, and I wasn't very good at following the movements on the screen. But this is how you flip it. You give the kids a link to the song video in their Google Classroom, and you encourage the kids to sing the song at home. And especially if your classes are every second week or Tuesday, Thursday, on their off days, their work at home could be learning the song. So you teach kind of half the lesson in class, and then you get the kids to do the other half of the lesson on their home days. So you can do a variety of activities with songs in class. You can read the words to the song. This develops what's called prosody or fluency in reading. It's a really good literacy skill. You can discuss the meaning of the words, and you help them develop comprehension. In the song we're English, and we want to make sure that the kids have at least a basic understanding of what they're singing about. You can have them read rhythms. You can have them hum melodies. If they're keeping their mouth closed, especially if they've got a mask on, they certainly can hum a melody. So La Pulga is in the online learning section, and I don't know how many of you have explored this, but if you've been killing yourself writing lessons for the last 10 weeks, you could have saved yourself some trouble simply by linking to the online learning. So if I was going straight to the website, I'd click on that, I'd find 3rd grade, and I'm in lesson 10 of 3rd grade. These will be renumbered in September, but for now it's lesson 10. There's a worksheet here that can be downloaded or not, as the case may be. So first we're going to learn about the song La Pulga, and the kids would read, this is a traditional Spanish song. The words refer to the different kinds of instruments sold in the San Jose market. Una guitarra, a guitar, un clarineta, clarinet, un violin, a violin, un violon, a cello, un tom-tom, a drum. And now what we have here is a flashcard play along that the kids are going to do. So again, choose whatever instrument you like out of your kit, boys and girls, and we're going to play along with La Pulga. So at home, the kids can do this as well. You can give them a link right straight to this module. So you play, this makes it full screen.
De San José, yo compré una guitarra, tarra, 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 la guitarra. Vaya usted a la pulga de San José. Vaya usted a la pulga de San José. En San José yo compré un clarinete, nete, el clarinete, tarra, 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 la guitarra. Vaya usted a la pulga de San José. Vaya usted a la pulga de San José. En la pulga de San José yo compré un violón, el violín, nete, el clarinete, tarra, 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 la guitarra. Vaya usted a la pulga de San José. Vaya usted a la pulga de San José. En la pulga de San José yo compré un violón, el violón, el violín, nete, el clarinete, tarra, 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 la guitarra. Vaya usted a la pulga de San José. Vaya usted a la pulga de San José. En la pulga de San José yo compré un tuntún, el tuntún, el violón, el violín, nete, el clarinete, tarra, 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 la guitarra. Vaya usted a la pulga de San José. Vaya usted a la pulga de San José.
Nicely done. So that you would do in class. And when you get to the next part of the lesson, if you're allowed to sing, by all means, go ahead and do it. But if you're not allowed to sing, you would just say, boys and girls, when you go home this week, your second music class is going to be to learn by rote the words to the chorus of
The
La
singer
Pulga.
will sing a line, and then you sing.
En la pulga de San José yo compré una guitarra, tarra, 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 la guitarra. Vaya usted a la pulga de San José.
So that's to learn to sing by rote, and then finally they end up with the whole song. You can assign all of these lessons, or you can assign parts of them, and many of the teachers that have been using these lessons make their own video introducing what the kids should do, so you have your own personal touch with the lessons. So I'll show you where you come to the website. The online learning lessons are here on the left menu. We're barely scraping the surface of this site. It's massive, and there's lots of good stuff, and it's only $150 a year, so it's a great deal. I put this at the end of each of the online learning lessons because we in Alberta aren't allowed to teach music to kids at home. Only literacy and math was being taught in home learning, and I wanted parents whose teachers did give them a little bit of this to know that music is literacy. And I'll post a PDF of this so that you not only have the poster, but you'll have the clickable links to the websites where I took the research. Creating an ostinato. This is another great way to get kids playing and learning. And again, you flip the singing so that they do the flip singing at home. So this song is a very simple reading song. And if I go to the website, it's going to take me to here. I didn't want to link directly, but you can see the Good Morning song has all kinds of interactive activities with it to learn it. So if it was me teaching in the classroom, the first thing I would have the kids do is read me the rhythms. Boys and girls, will you read me the rhythms for this? Ready, go. Ta, ti, ti, ta, ti, 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 ta. Shh. Ti, ti, ta, ti, ti, ta, ti, 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 ta. Shh. In normal times, we would sing it in solfege. So maybe what you could do is have them hand sign the solfege as you play it or as you sing it. Good morning, good morning, how are you today? And have them do the signs with it. But I want them to learn the song one way or the other, flipped classroom or no. Then what I want to do is to pull up the Orff arrangement for this. And I'm going to pull the ostinato pattern out of the Orff arrangement. So you can see it's a C and a G, C and a G. And I use the words good, shh, good, shh, morning's good, shh, good, shh, good, shh, morning's good, shh. You probably won't have Orff instruments, but let's take whatever instruments you do. I'm going to use the sandpaper blocks for this. Good, shh, good, shh, morning's good. So that's where I pulled the ostinato from, and I'm going to use the recording, and we'll do the ostinato with it.
Good morning, how are you today? Time to sing, time to learn, always time to play. Good morning, how are you today? Time to sing, time to learn, always time to play.
And if things ever go back to normal, then you can teach it to them using the Orff process. To show you something that's new on the website, if you haven't been on here recently. We've built an Orff directory. And so we have Orff rules as printables. You can download it. Labels for the instruments. We have an interactive xylophone, metallophone, and interactive piano. And if you go here to the different grade levels, you can teach a complete Orff program from here. It starts at the bottom and works its way up to the top. So good morning uses do, mi, so, ta, ti, ti, rest. If I want a quick view, I can pull up the Orff arrangement here. If I want to see the song in the song list, it'll take me back to where I was before with all the lovely interactive activities. And of course, if your kids have Chromebooks or iPads, you can have them do these activities on them. So in this one, I want them to name the so's, mi's, and do's. And they can play the song. If they make a mistake, they lose a star, and it makes that sound. And as long as they have some stars left, they win and they can play it again. So that's solfa names, or you can teach them letter names, whichever you choose. It's the same. And there's a tone ladder for all of our reading songs. So this one uses just so, mi, and do. You can show them that. And you could point to the notes, and they could do the hand signs, sing inside their head. They're going to be really good at inner hearing by the end of this year. The interactive beat and rhythm are awesome, but that's a whole webinar just by itself. We'll do that another time. So this is what's available for all the reading songs. And I think that's a great way to sort of keep the Orff process going by doing ostinato with songs. And I would typically be singing, but my voice is not working well right now. I need surgery, and it can't be scheduled until the border is open and I can get to Houston. So I'm kind of stuck. So another section of the online website that's great is the play along rhythms. And I've lost my mouse, so I'm going to have to escape this, which is always scary, and go up here and show you the online rhythms here. So there's echo, There's read, clap, and play. There's poison rhythm that the kids love. Today I was going to do the read, clap, and play. I was going to do one of the 16ths, and I was going to do the flashcard play along. And this is the one that I had chosen with 16th notes. Each of these has a section where kids can improvise. So this one would be kind of fun to do on your sticks, or maybe I'll use chopsticks for this one. And with 16th notes easier for kids to drum with them than it is any other way. Five, six, seven, eight. Tick-ta, ta, ticka-ticka-ta, ticka-ticka-ta, tick-tick-too-ta, ticka-ticka-ta. I'm going to do the green. Ta, ta, rest, ta, ticka-ticka-ticka-ticka-ta. You do the blue. My turn. Tick-tick-ticka-ticka-ta, ta, ta, tick-tick-tick-tick-ta. Your turn. We all improvise. My turn. Ta, ta, ticka, ticka, ta, tick, 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 ta, ta. Your turn. Ma, ta, ta, two, ticka, ticka, ta, tick, tick, ta. Yes, two, ta, ta, ticka, ticka, ta. Ta, tick, tick, ta, ticka, ticka. Yes, tick, tick, ta, tick, tick, ticka, 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 ta. And it's over. So fun to do and good for the kids. Now, creating accompaniments or sound effects for storybooks is another really good way to incorporate music in your lessons. And I feel like I'm running over time, so I'm going to just mention some of the books that I use. Mortimer by Robert Munsch is fabulous for your little people. Up, Up, Down. I use from pre-K up to 3rd grade. Cookies, really good. I do this 2nd grade, 3rd grade, maybe even 4th grade. In Artie's book, Malad Madness, Alexander and the Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Day. Excellent for your upper elementary students. I've done that as high actually as 7th grade and they still love it. Robert Munsch books for your older grades. Paper Bag Princess is again a really excellent one. Within Musicplay, there are some really good sound stories. So the Rain, Rain, Go Away story is a great one to do. And I'm going to take us to it. So again, if you link to the search engine, you can pretty well get down to the song you want. In this one here, I am getting kindergarten and pre-K versions, but I want the kindergarten version because it has the story within it. And the concept slides, I'm going to go to about here. And here's the Rain, Rain story. So the story goes on, but I want to pre-teach some of this. So pitter, patter, says the falling rain. Patter, pitter, patter on my window pane. What instrument kit could we use for that? Maybe let's try a shaker. Pitter, patter, says the falling. Pitter, patter on my window pane. And of course, every time you have the Rain, Rain song, you're going to sing it. And there's another spot where we have some windshield wipers that go swish, 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 swish. Let's try that on these. Swish, 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 swish. And there's another spot where they jump in a puddle. And when they jump in the puddle, I want you to make a splash, whatever way you can. Splash, The kids like making those sound effects. So let's go back and let's try the whole story together. Boys and girls, this is the rain story. Anna woke up dropping of raindrops on her window. Pitter patter, says the falling rain. Pitter patter on my window pane. Oh, Anna thought, I wanted to go outside today. Carter and I were going to practice doing cartwheels. I wish that rain would go away. So Anna sang, rain, rain, go away, come again another day. Anna went downstairs to eat breakfast. She had a bowl of cereal and watched the rain beat down against the kitchen window. Pitter patter, says the falling rain. Pitter patter on my window pane. Anna's mom looked outside and she sang, rain, rain, go away, come again another day. The windshield wipers were busy all the way to school. Swish, 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 swish. Anna and Carter looked out the classroom window and listened to the rain drip dropping on the glass. Pitter patter, says the falling rain. Pitter patter, on my window pane. Anna and Carter sang, rain, rain, go away, come again another day. At recess, Anna and Carter put on their coats and boots and went outside in the rain. Hey, Anna, said Carter, watch me. I'm going to do a cartwheel in the rain. Carter did it. He did a cartwheel right through a puddle. Splash! Anna thought that if Carter could do a cartwheel in the rain, she could too. And she did. Splash! After recess, the rain was still drip-dropping on the window of the classroom. Pitter patter, says the falling rain. Pitter patter, on my window pane. But this time the kids sang, rain, rain, it's okay, we can still go out and play. And in this case, the interactive activities, oh, it's not what I was expecting. I was expecting something different. But there's interactive activities again for these songs with your kindergarten people. Any of the reading songs have lots and lots of interactive activities that you can do. And again, in a distanced classroom, doing a little more interactive activities, a little more of the reading writing is going to make your classes a little bit easier to deal with. So you can see in kindergarten, there's a whole bunch of these little Musicplay sound stories. In the last module, I did one with Seesaw Up and Down. That was very cute. So bucket drumming. You can use whatever it's. So Artie suggests number 10 cans from the cafeteria. I'm thinking that smaller buckets that'll stay right by the kids' desks are going to work the best. But if you have space for those big 5-gallon buckets, they by far sound the best. And there's 4 bucket drumming lessons in the online learning modules for grade 5 and grade 6. So this is bucket drumming lesson 1. And again, you would get to that via online learning. But because I had this link copied, the links go directly to the online learning modules. It's really handy actually. So in this lesson, you'll learn to find sticks and buckets in your house, how to hold your sticks, how to alternate hands, and play 4-bar rhythms with the music. So there is a great video here that you can use to introduce bucket drumming to your students. they find something to drum with. I show them how to hold the sticks, and I'm fussy about this because I hate when I see this grip. I hate when I see pointer grip. I want them to hold the stick between their thumb and their pointer finger, and then it bounces up and down nicely. And then we have exercises for them to do, and then we've layered in some music that they can do the exercises with. Right hand first. Now left. Now 4 of each. And the kids would continue on until they're going. So this gives you lots of things that you can do with instrument kits that don't have to be expensive to make. The bucket drumming, right now we have the 4 lessons in grade 5 and 6. In the fall, we've got a new bucket drumming unit that's going to go into the bucket drumming units. If you want an offline resource, don't want to subscribe, the Easy Bucket Drumming is a great resource. And another resource that I recommend highly is the Kid Sticks by Artie Almeida. You won't go wrong with anything that Artie has written. If we have time, we'll do a movement in place, but that's the focus of the next webinar that I'm going to do in 2 weeks, is movement songs that you can do that'll work well with a Zoom lesson, or that will work well in your classroom where you can't have kids touching because they can't touch anymore. So I've got a whole list of songs that are fun to do and will be fun for the kids. So in music class, we sing, and of course now that's going to maybe be problematic, but we also play, move, listen, read, write, and create. The performing is going to look different, but the creating, the responding, the connecting can still happen in the spaced classes. So in this webinar, the focus was on playing instruments and the instrument kits. The focus will be on movement for a distance class or a Zoom lesson if schools end up closing in the fall. And I sort of suspect myself that we're going to have schools open and maybe closed for a while. And I would like to invite everybody to join Artie Almeida and myself in our online Odyssey 2020. Every year for the past 10 years, Artie and I have done a workshop together. The first one, I think, was still the best on a cruise ship. That was absolutely fabulous. And since then, we've done Vegas and Branson and Dallas and Houston, Chicago, Memphis, Nashville. I'm missing some. We did Washington, D.C. We did Dulles. I'm still missing a couple. But this year we were planning to be in Indianapolis, and of course we were going to go to the Speedway, and that's all been canceled. So we're doing it virtually this year, which makes it more available to people who live in the UK or in Australia to come, and we don't have to cut off our numbers either. Last year our workshop wasn't until July, and we had a full list by May the 9th. To join Artie and I, it'll be 3 days of sessions. Your brain will explode at the end of it, but you can do those sessions at your own pace. You don't have to do them in the 3 days with us, but we will be there for 3 days doing question and answer and a happy hour at the end of the day where we hope you'll raise a glass of soda or whatever you wish with us, and we'll answer more questions and answers then. So it's 25 hours and it's going to be lots of fun. I hope to see you there. I want to do some big thank yous. I can't do this by myself, obviously. Our Musicplay team has been amazing in this epidemic. They stepped up in March and literally in 6 days built the online learning modules so that you would have lessons for your kids to do at home. So huge thanks to Carrie Lynn, our moderator, to Nathan, our tech wizard, to Karis and Craig for graphic design for this, and to Scott, who's editing the videos to post after. You will be sent links so that you can come back and review this video if you like, and I will post the handouts as well, so a copy with all the slides that I have done in here. Thanks so much for joining. I'm Denise Gagne. I'm very happy to be doing Wednesday webinars with you, and I hope you join me again. Hi, so I'm back live now. I hope you enjoyed the presentation. I've got some questions that have come in. So question number 1, is there a safe way of having students share barred instruments? And so I think it's a yes and no answer. I think there is a minimum amount of time that disinfectant surfaces of things before it can be used by the next person. So as long as you're following CDC guidelines, you're following the guidelines of the disinfectant spray that you're using and leaving it on the instrument, the minimum amount of time that's needed, yes, I think you can safely use the barred instruments. What it might mean is that one morning class can use it this week. One morning class, one afternoon class can use instruments today. The next day, a different morning class, a different afternoon class. And that's assuming also that they're coming to your music room, because that could be a whole different question. So that was question 1. And Carrie Lynn, are you hearing me? So question 2. How can you feasibly keep track of planning a potential hybrid class where half the kids are at home and half are in school, and then switch without ending up planning 2 separate lessons? That's a hard question. And I find for myself that I forget pretty quickly what I've done with kids. What I might suggest doing is getting as many permissions as you can to video your classes. And then you could video the class, and the class that's at home that week sees the video. I think that might be a way of doing it. And that also will give you a record of what you've done with each class. But again, that's subject to privacy policy in your school and getting permissions to do it. So 3rd question I've got, Denise, how do we ensure that what we are delivering for our students will be meaningful and impactful, even if given tremendous restrictions? So I think you probably have some ideas for this even just after this webinar, but performances obviously are going to be different. I think performances are going to be the ones where you get every kid that can to videotape themselves and you amalgamate them. So performance will be different, but I think the creating can be the same. I think the responding will actually have more time for doing some things like listening and responding. And because you'll have smaller classes, you're going to have less behavior issues. And I think you can perhaps engage more meaningfully one-on-one with the children. So I think we will still be able to deliver very meaningful lessons, even though we're spaced, we're distanced, and some of the kids might be virtual learning. It's going to be hard. Question 4 I have, how to deliver the best lessons to students without internet access. That is going to be a tough one, but if they are at school part-time, you could send them home with work to do. That one I'm going to have to give some thought on, because that could be a whole webinar just by itself. So I'll leave that one until later to try and answer. Number 5, another good question. What do you suggest new teachers who have never met their students before should do to start building relationships? So in my back to school unit that's on musicplayonline.com, there are some mixer activities, and those aren't going to work because the kids can't interact with each other. So I think just take turns getting the kids to introduce themselves. Maybe give the kids a list of 3 questions. What's your favorite song? What do you like? What's your favorite instrument to play in music class? And, think of a few, and have each child introduce themselves to you. Do you take private lessons at home? That could be your third question. Or what instrument would you like to take if you could take private lessons? So everybody introduces themselves. I know this would be more meaningful for me if all of you had a voice other than in the chat and could say, hi, I'm coming from wherever. So in your classes of 14 kids, it won't take as long to go through and have every child introduce themselves. And I think that would be a start to getting to know the kids. I will do a back to school session because I have some really fun name games that I think will still work in spaced classes or virtually. Question 8. How can I utilize Musicplay with Google Classroom? We actually have a Google expert teacher that's going to be part of the Artie and Denise webinar. So she is going to do a session on Google Classroom and how you can use Musicplay online within your Google Classroom. And she's also going to do a session on Flipgrid because those are two areas that I am not it's not my strength area. I haven't used them a lot. So with the Google Classroom, most of the teachers on the Facebook group, on the Musicplay Teachers group on Facebook, have posted that what they have been doing is giving the kids either Google Slides with a link to Musicplay online, or they've been giving them a Google Doc that has links to what they want them to do. This will be a little different next year because the site's going to be closed and the kids will have to enter it with a code. But if you're modeling how they do it, either with a video, doing it virtually, or in class, you use the website and you say, okay, when you go home and you're home next week, this is what I want you to do. Enter your code. This is how. And then I want you to click on listening kits. I want you to go to kit 3, number 5, and you give them really good written directions to follow up. So I think it's very possible. It's going to be much easier for the students if you can model for them. And I know a lot of teachers have used the online learning modules, but what they've done is they've made their students a video showing how to go through the online learning module. And sometimes they leave out a section. They don't ask the students to do the whole thing. So I think the video and sending the kids a video is also an important part of this. Question, maximum number of students you think a teacher should teach using Google Meet? 10, 15, or 20. Ideally, the smaller the better. And if the schools where you are follow the model that Alberta seems to be leaning towards, I think it's going to be groups of less than 15. I have the sense that our guidelines in Alberta are going to be much more stringent than they are in other places, like Alabama, the southern states. I think there's going to be a lot less stringent requirements than there is going to be for us Canadian teachers. Question 10, how can we address performance assessment through virtual teaching, especially in the primary grades? You're going to need some parent help with this because I think the best way is to have them send you a video. And again, Flipgrid seems to be the platform that most people really like for doing videos back and forth between students and teacher. And we will have a session on that in the Artie and Denise online symposium. So question 11, do you think you'll be offering any training sessions on how to create virtual choir videos? Now, that is something I would have to get Scott to do because he is the one who created the video for me for this session. And because he was able to create it I used QuickTime to screencast my computer, and I used a video camera as well for me. I find with Screencastify that things have a time lag. And so we did it the way we did it so that we wouldn't have the latency that happens. But since I'm not a video expert, it would have to be somebody that volunteers to do a session for us as a webinar, or I would have to get Scott to create a video and do it. And I think actually that would be a really fun thing for us to do, would be to create a virtual choir video using We Can Make a Difference or using A Wish for Peace, and then see how it turns out. It would be fun to do it. And then he could explain the hows. What is on my essential student supplies list for music? So as I said, with the instrument kits, ideally, I want something wood, metal, shakes and scrapes. What did I miss? Drums. That's what I'd ideally like. But my minimum is going to be something for sticks, something for shakes, and then my pool noodle scrapers. So I have some scrapes. Somebody pointed out in the chat, and I was able to follow along, that cups can make drums. And I always buy the yogurt in those big containers. Those would actually be good. And I think if you sent out a call to your parents asking them to send in yogurt, the large size yogurt containers, you'd probably get enough to outfit more than one class, is my suspicion. I'm in my office. If I go over here, these are my baby drums. And these are restaurant sized sour cream containers. So I think you're going to end up being as creative as possible in equipping your students with whatever instruments. The good thing about having a bucket or something that they can drum on is that can also contain their other instruments at the same time. So that would be my essential school supplies. I really like the idea of adding a scarf to it. This is a 12-inch, which I think actually is quite a good size for lots of the activities. If you have a school set of bean bags that are washable bean bags, I'd got some at AOSA one year that were really light and really nice. But that would be something that I'd like to have in my individual instrument kits. Question 15, is there a textbook or teacher's edition available in print that goes along with the online curriculum? And yes, we went from print to online. So the print absolutely is still available. The print comes with, the teacher's guide comes with the CDs. So at the back of the guide, this one doesn't have them, but at the back of the guide are the CDs. And the digital discs include the all the videos, all the song videos. Advantage of having that is that you then have access to the videos to put in your individual Google Classroom for students to see a particular song if they don't have easy access to the online site. So yeah, there's some big advantages to having this. The cost of Musicplay, a K-5 package with the teacher's guides, with the CDs. The CDs also gives you all the performance tracks. We have the accompaniment tracks are now downloadable from the website, but the performance tracks aren't, and they won't be. The performance tracks are only available if you do this. But the package for K-5, including this, including all the listening excerpts, including all the digital resources, is $16.25. And I don't want to name names, but there's another online music program that costs that much for 1 year subscription. So it's $16.25, gives you all the print materials, all the disc materials, and it gives you a 3-year subscription as well. So it's a very affordable program, and we intend to keep it that way. So the last question that I have, can we safely sing together? If we are virtual teaching, how can you teach pitch matching over video platforms? I teach K6. So I've suggested in this webinar that we flip much of the singing. I was in, I think where I was, Kim Brugier did flipped recorder teaching with her students, and she said it worked out really, really well. She would give them the instruction in class, but they actually wouldn't do the playing there. The kids would do the playing at home. And she made these very neat videos for her kids to learn to play. In terms of video for singing, the song videos are going to be the best, or the kids demo videos where they can actually sing along with other kids. The safely singing together, the Alberta guidelines said if you have less than 15, you can sing. And I think with children, there's not nearly as much danger as there is with adults, because adults have stronger voices, they're going to project their voice, and I think that's going to spread the germs a whole lot more than little people's voices would. However, if I was going to do anything and it was a sung activity and not just a spoken activity, I'd be putting on my nice little music mask, and I would be using this in class, not just asking the kids to put theirs on, because I absolutely would not want to be the one that was responsible for spreading this virus. We've been so lucky here in Red Deer. I think we're down to 1 or 0 active cases, and let's just try and be safe and keep it that way as much as we can. So I'm going to ask Carrie Lynn if she has any other questions. I'm not seeing your chat right now because I was getting dual audio and it was disturbing me, so I turned it off. Okay, so Carrie Lynn has reminded me that to get your certificates of completion for this webinar, there's a quiz, and I believe there's a link to the quiz. I'm not sure where, Carrie Lynn. If you type that to me, I can announce it. And there's a quiz, and then you'll automatically get sent a completion certificate. I apologize for all the email issues that we had. Okay, it's the page that you are on right now will have the completion quiz. That's what Carrie Lynn told me. The email issues that we had, it's a problem with deliverability of auto emails. So hopefully within the next 2-week period, we get that so it works better and you get the auto emails. And if it is a huge problem, we'll do like we did this time, and we'll just post the links in the Musicplay Teachers group on Facebook. So thank you so much for sharing this time with me. I'm so relieved that the first one went as well as it did. We were a little nervous about the technical things when we tested this with Artie on Tuesday, and things didn't go so well. But it's been a delight and a pleasure to be with you. Thank you so much for coming.